Good morning. I am in my backyard garden reading from the Bible. Today I'm reading from the book of Proverbs. I will read Proverbs Chapter 25, which has further wise sayings of Solomon. But before I get started, I want to talk a little bit about what you're looking at in the video today. What you see in the video is a chamomile plant that is coming back nicely after the freeze. This plant had been kind of trimmed back by Sample. Sample's our dog, and she likes different things that are in the garden, and so I think that she had trimmed this one back quite short, but it's coming back after the freeze, and I'm just happy at how amazing nature is and how much really did survive after our long freeze. The other thing that I'm thinking about today, I was thinking about the soil in our raised bed garden and the soil in our yard. And I was wondering, kind of thinking about the mycorrhizal fungi that's in the soil and also the beneficial nematodes, and just wondering how badly they suffered because of the freeze. I wonder how deep mycorrhizal fungi is down into the soil on the roots of the plants, and how does it survive through the really cold temperatures. And then beneficial nematodes, I was wondering about those as well. In the garden beds, we put in beneficial nematodes. We introduce them every season, so we'll introduce them again. I mean, there's some that help the plants, and then they have different functions, and we also put some on the rest of the yard. There's some of them that help control things like fleas, and then there's another one that we put on the yard that helps keep ants, kind of keep the ant population down. Because we're permaculture, my husband is a permaculture guy and everything's organic, we try to find different ways that are organic to help our yard and our soil and our garden. But today I'm kind of musing about mycorrhizal fungi and nematodes, beneficial nematodes, and wondering, did the cold knock them out like it knocked out some of our plants? Okay, enough of that, enough of garden talk. Back to Bible reading in the garden. Today I'm reading from the book of Proverbs, and I will read Proverbs Chapter 25, which is further wise sayings of Solomon. The reading begins. These are other proverbs of Solomon that the officials of King Hezekiah of Judah copied. It is the glory of God to conceal things, but the glory of kings is to search things out. Like the heavens for height, like the earth for depth, so the mind of kings is unsearchable. Take away the dross from the silver, and the smith has material for a vessel. Take away the wicked from the presence of the king, and his throne will be established in righteousness. Do not put yourself forward in the king's presence, or stand in the place of the great, for it is better to be told, "Come up here," than to be put lower in the presence of a noble. What your eyes have seen, do not hastily bring into court, for what will you do in the end when your neighbor puts you to shame? Argue your case with your neighbor directly, and do not disclose another's secret, or else someone who hears you will bring shame upon you, and your ill repute will have no end. A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in a setting of silver, like a gold ring or an ornament of gold is a wise rebuke to a listening ear. Like the cold of snow in the time of harvest are faithful messengers to those who send them. They refresh the spirit of their masters. Like clouds and wind without rain is one who boasts of a gift never given. With patience, a ruler may be persuaded, and a soft tongue can break bones. If you have found honey, eat only enough for you, or else, having too much, you will vomit it. Let your foot be seldom in your neighbor's house, otherwise the neighbor will become weary of you and hate you. Like a war club, a sword, or a sharp arrow is one who bears false witness against a neighbor. Like a bad tooth or a lame foot is trust in a faithless person in time of trouble. Like vinegar on a wound is one who sings songs to a heavy heart. Like a moth in clothing or a worm in wood, sorrow gnaws at the human heart. If your enemies are hungry, give them bread to eat, and if they are thirsty, give them water to drink. For you will heap coals of fire on their heads, and the Lord will reward you. The north wind produces rain, and a backbiting tongue angry looks. It is better to live in a corner of the housetop than in a house shared with a contentious wife. Like cold water to a thirsty soul, so is good news from a far country. Like a muddled spring or a polluted fountain are the righteous who give way before the wicked. It is not good to eat much honey or to seek honor on top of honor. Like a city breached without walls is one who lacks self-control. Here ends the reading of Proverbs Chapter 25.